see with your eyes open. Just a little candlelight. So you might as well just close your eyes if you want to. You might as well just close your eyes if you want to. As you can tell, I'm wearing fancy makeup, just like I was last night. You can tell because of how dark in here it is. But those are little hearts all over my eyes. And I have the fancy makeup on because I did go to the show that I told you guys I was going to go to in my last video. The K-pop acrobatic show. Well, acrobatic K-pop show is how it was described to me online before I went tonight. I went with my sister, and we went because we found out that it was going to be in the Dollar General parking lot. And her and I love to do things that other people would typically consider bad. Not bad as in like, oh, you're being bad, but bad as in like, when I told my husband about this event, he said, why would you want to go to that? It's going to be terrible. And I said, because it's going to be terrible. And I want to laugh at it so bad because it's going to be funny. Like, it's just funny to me. I don't know. And if you don't understand why a K-pop acrobatic show would be funny, it's funny because I live maybe 50 to 75 miles from the US border with Mexico, in a teeny tiny town, like teeny tiny. So we don't have anything to do around here. And when something like that comes around, you just know that it's gonna be insane. Because what do you mean? In my town of maybe 10,000 people, there's an acrobatic K-pop show in the Dollar General parking lot. I knew right then and there when I heard that that was a once-in-a-lifetime experience, and I had to be there. So me and my sister went tonight, and we got to see aerialists. The show opened with aerialists, those girls who do like tricks from the ceiling. And then there was BTS impersonators who couldn't dance. One of my favorite parts of the show because, again, the things that go wrong are my favorite part, obviously. And then Cha-Cha the Clown. I was so obsessed with Cha-Cha the Clown, I had to get a picture with him afterwards. And then there was a guy who did hair hanging. I have never seen hair hanging in person before, but it is crazy. And I talked to him after the show. I feel weird describing this person as a him, because like they very obviously came off as non-binary to me, but like I didn't ask, so I'm gonna go with they. So I stopped and talked to them after the show, and when I stopped and talked to them, I was like, how long have you been training to do this? And they were like, since I was 6 years old, because my mother did it as well. And I was like, yeah, that actually makes sense, because like, you have any idea how strong your scalp has to be to hang from it? Like, I can't even imagine. And then there was also a girl group who did some lip syncing and dancing to the songs from K-pop Demon Hunters. Me and my sister have never seen the movie, and we found the wigs and the costumes to be very funny. But honestly, their dancing skills, much better than the guys. Much better than the guys. Leagues above, which I guess I should not be surprised by, because they're aerialists, you know what I mean? But then the clown Cha-Cha, obviously, you know, he was funny, he was a clown, whatever, but there was also a section where he did some magic tricks, and he ate a freaking balloon. You know how you ever seen sword swallowing? Like at a Ren fair, they do sword swallowing. He literally did sword swallowing, except it was a balloon, like the really long type of balloon typically used to make like a balloon animal with. Like literally that type of balloon, and it was crazy. And then there was also a guy there with 4 poodles. Yeah, poodles like the dog. And each of the 4 poodles did a different trick. And one of them walked on a tightrope. And it was so cute with its 4 little paws on the tightrope. Well, because it was 2 tightropes next to each other, because you gotta have 2 paws on one and 2 paws on the other. And that was super cute. And then one of the other dogs got up and walked on its hind legs. But have you ever seen that scene in Mulan where they carry 2 buckets on their shoulders and the buckets are attached in the middle by like a long stick, and that's how they carry it over their shoulders? Yeah, they literally had a dog do that. The dog stood up in its hind legs and they put the buckets on the dog's shoulders and they carried the buckets. Like, yeah, they were little tiny plastic buckets, but like, does it really matter, bro? Like, a dog did it. Like, that's so cool. And then another one of the dogs. Okay, also, because I'm from so close to the Mexican border, right? And like I said, it's kind of funny to have like a K-pop thing from where I'm from, right? And so when I looked up this event online, all of the event info was in Spanish, and I did not even bother to translate it to English before I booked my tickets, because I had to have the tickets from the second I saw them, right? And they did have VIP tickets available, but I actually just got general because I went with my sister, right? And I texted my sister and I was like, show me the VIP section in a Dollar General parking lot. Right, you can't, so I'm not getting VIP. But anyway, what was I saying? Oh, right, about it being Spanish. So one of the poodles, their talent was that they put a little sombrero and a poncho on the dog, and then they had the dog do a dance to a Spanish song. It was so cute. That was another thing we thought was funny about the show. It was supposed to be a K-pop show, but the only time K-pop was playing is when they were doing the like Demon Hunter lip syncing, whatever. All the rest of the time they were just playing like 2010s white girl pops or Latin music, and that was just really funny to us at a K-pop show. But yeah, they put on a Latin song and the dog did a dance, and it was so cute. And then when the dog was done with the dance, they had like a podium with 4 seats on it, and each dog was like sitting up on a seat, right? And they tried to call the dog back to its seat on the podium, but the dog was not budging from the side of the stage, and the dog was just sitting on the side of the stage with its front paws up in the air, just looking at the ringmaster guy like, Father, please save me. And oh my gosh, that was so funny. Oh my gosh, that was so funny. One of the best parts of the show, bro. Because when me and my sister saw the poster, like I said, we didn't have any event information because it was all in Spanish. So when we saw the poster, we saw 2 AI generated Demon Hunter girls in the front, which by the way I am anti-AI, but what a funny use of it. And then a little thing on the side that just said cha cha cha, and a little icon of a poodle. And we were like, what does cha 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 and poodles have to do with K-pop and acrobatics? But obviously it turns out it's because it was a carnival show with like multiple different kinds of shows, so that's why. But like, dude, it took so much talent to do some of the tricks that these aerialist girls were doing, and none of them wore any harness. And I was like, whoa, because I have a fear of heights, so that could literally never be me. But like, one of them got up in the rope thing that hangs from the ceiling, and they hung a hoop from the end of the rope, and she got into the hoop, and she was hanging upside down from the hoop, and she grabbed onto this rope, right? And a guy who was on the ground was holding the other end of the rope, and he used the rope to spin her really, really quickly, really, really quickly. And so she was spinning in the air upside down from this hoop, and she started dropping glitter everywhere. And so she's spinning and dropping glitter everywhere from the ceiling. And I looked at my sister and I said, "Okay, Beyblade, go off. Slay." We literally had a great time. We had a great time. Most of the announcements were in Spanish. Like when the guy talks to the audience, there was not a lot of talking to the audience at all. It was mostly just a music show. But most of the talking to the audience was in Spanish, except for every so often when they would just say, "Everybody scream." And that was great for the kids. There was a lot of kids there. But that's okay because me and my sister were still slaying the house down boots in our goth outfits in the back of the theater thing. And that's also kind of the thing, is like the way the seats were set up, right? Me and my sister are really tall, and there was a lot of kids there. So we were like, we're not gonna have any trouble seeing over these kids, right? So we got a spot all the way in the back. And there was this section over to the right of us that was completely empty. Like nobody was sitting there, 100% completely empty section. Until a couple minutes into the show, a family came in and sat in the front row of that section. And where me and my sister were sitting, you had to walk past us to get over there, because we're on the very last row. So you either have to walk right past our legs, like you'd have to say "excuse me" and walk right past our legs, or you'd have to walk through one of the rows in front of us so we would see you walk by, right? So a family goes over there and sits down. They're the only people in this section, right? I look over there part of the way through the show, and I tap my sister on the shoulder, and I was like, "Hey, there's a guy over there now in the back row." And she was like, "What?" And she looks over there, and there is a guy in the back row. And I was like, "How did he get over there without us seeing him go over there? Like, that's weird." But my sister was like, "I don't know, intermission was just a few minutes ago." It's like, maybe he got over there then. Even though intermission was like really short, and we also did not leave our seats during intermission. We sat there the whole time. So I was still like, "What?" But okay. And then when the show was almost over, I looked over again, and I noticed the guy was gone. And I tapped my sister on the shoulder, and I was like, "Bro, the guy is gone." And she was like, "Okay, actually, no way he got past us the second time, because we were right here. He would have had to pass us to get out. Like, we're in a circus tent. Like, it's a big round tent. Like, what?" What? But that was just funny.